What is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning into another video, man. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great new year. In today's video, we're going to be doing a ranking of some of my favorite channel strip plugins for mixing vocals. This is going to be a lot of fun, especially for newer engineers or maybe intermediate engineers who want to know a little bit more about, what makes a plugin good, if you should invest in a certain plugin, what free plugins are good. I got a whole bunch of some of my favorite EQ compressor plugins that I've been using. I've really just been organizing my plugin arsenal. I know a lot of people enjoy kind of the way that I have sorted out my plugins. So obviously, yeah, we're kind of going to be looking into some of what I have in my arsenal and ranking them. So yeah, let's get straight into it, man. As always, definitely make sure to smash like and subscribe. Check the links below. Links to the vocal mixing course for FL Studio, vocal recording course if you're looking to upgrade your game as an engineer or artist. And yeah, all sorts of other goodies. So let's get straight into it, man. So I'm going to be ranking these plugins based on kind of what you get for what you pay for. Do you get added on analog distortion? Do you get extra vibe? What does the plugin actually sound like, right? Because I think a lot of plugins have been a bit gimmicky in the past few years and not really usable. There's certain plugins here that I just don't use, right? I tend to lean towards other things. So I'll kind of be breaking that down for you. Again, for beginner engineers, I think this is solid type of content so that you can kind of learn what to listen for, what to look out for when purchasing or investing in plugins. So yeah, let's get into it. I'll kind of choose random ones as I go along. But yeah, let's start off with this. Why not we start off with this BX or this Lindell Neve type plugin. This is basically a channel strip that is emulating as if you were mixing on a Neve console. Now, for those who don't know, Neve consoles are incredibly expensive, so being able to have this in digital format already is a plus. Personally, I don't really like the EQ on this plugin. I tend not to do too much Neve EQ. I think that works better for like rock drums and things like that. But for rap mixing, I wouldn't really use the EQ. But what I do lean towards with this plugin is the kind of preamp drive. I feel like turning up this THD knob, let me just enhance this while we talk about it. This THD knob does give you a lot of nice analog character. So if you are looking to kind of fill out your mix, you can actually add this plugin onto all your different elements and then actually get a Neve sound. And yeah, I think in that instance it sounds pretty good. So we also have the TMT technology, which I think Brainworks have absolutely killed it on. For those who don't understand what this is basically emulating a full console. So 32 channels I think are on this plugin. Each channel has a slightly different sound, so you're getting a really nice kind of bang for your buck. Plugin is quite expensive still, so definitely not an entry-level plugin, but again, pretty cool. I'll kind of put this into the, I would say, B tier. I don't really use it too much, but it does have nice analog modeling, so there we go. We'll use that. Next one, I think let's go for the Slate VMR stuff. Quite a big PNG right there, and I quite like the Slate stuff, man. I think that Slate plugins on their own don't really sound like wow. It sounds like a plugin. I think the preamps sound good, but really Slate quality kicks in when you do a full kind of channel strip of processing, right? So for example, if you use, I took a snapshot here of a kind of analog style preamp going into an API EQ, going into a LA2A style compressor, then it really sounds like an analog kind of thing that's going on. I know a lot of engineers, my friends that use the Slate stuff, they get really good mixes. So I personally think the Slate stuff is cool. Pricing is also pretty good. It's pretty entry level, 10 bucks I think a month, 12 bucks a month, around there. So I'm going to put Slate stuff, I would probably say A tier. I think this is a pretty, you can't go wrong using the Slate stuff. So that's what I think about that. So there we go, cool. Slate in the A rank. Let's see what else we have. Let's go for some UAD, man. UAD are obviously the kings of kind of analog modeling. I think that they do get it right, but because you need UAD hardware to get into these plugins, obviously not anyone can use them. So there's that's going for this kind of a barrier to entry. It also makes these plugins uncrackable. So sorry, pirates out there, you can't crack hardware. But yeah, I think the UAD stuff sounds good. This is the only channel strip I have. I don't have the SSL stuff from them. Since I have so many SSL plugins, we'll look into that as the video progresses. But I quite like this channel strip. If I want a very nice smooth Avalon sound, generally in studios, Lil Uzi, for example, uses the Avalon. I know an engineer that I look up to locally. His name is Richard. He swears by the Avalon stuff. They do a lot of gospel R&B style recording on vocals, and the Avalon just sounds really good. It has a built-in compressor. So if you are running the UAD platform, investing in something like this can work, because you do get your compressor, you do get your EQ, you do get your preamp kind of model technology. So, you know, it's kind of a bang for buck right there. Again, UAD stuff is quite expensive, barrier to entry. And, you know, for what you get, you know, I can get a lot of other stuff that'll do kind of the same thing. So I'll kind of put this in the, yeah, I'll say again, we'll put that in the B ranking. We're not gonna have any space left. We're running out of space pretty quickly. But yeah, pretty decent plugin. EQ sounds really nice and smooth. Again, Avalon stuff does sound good on more kind of high-end sounding vocals. So yeah, really cool stuff. Yeah, let's go for something Acoustica, right? So for those who don't know about Acoustica audio, Acoustica were kind of early on the analog modeling game. They kind of really got into the whole I think it's called convolution technology, something like that, but really where they emulate gear really well, right? Now, because they're emulating the gear so well, you end up using a lot of CPUs. So Acoustica is always going to be quite difficult to use for beginners, especially if you're running your stuff on a smaller laptop or a older desktop. Running plugins like this does tend to eat up CPU. They are also high in latency, meaning they add a huge delay to your session if you're using just a normal plugin. They do have zero latency versions, but that uses even more latency. But into the quality, I think the Sand bundle, if you were to purchase the Sand bundle, is an absolute steal. These are some of the best SSL sounding EQs that I know of. They also allow you to have 3 different flavors of, for example, the ESeries. I think it's the same for the G series. For those who don't know about E and G series, I have, for example, the ESeries EQs, and they have a certain sound. G series is a bit more punchy, E series is a bit more kind of gritty. So, you know, I've had the opportunity to kind of listen to the real thing, also in different studios, and I would say ESeries is a lot harder to model to get that sound, because you kind of get this really nice distortion, but the SSL or the Sand in this instance does this really well. Also, a good sounding SSL plugin will be able to poke frequencies out without making things sound weird, and I think this plugin does it well. So what you get with this plugin, again, are 3 types of different EQs per EQ area, right? Because SSL EQs have 4 different bands, so you can kind of mix and match. You also get different sounding preamps, so you get that kind of analog tone as well, and then you get a bus compressor, so really cool. You get the filters as well, and I think this is a pretty damn good plugin. But because again it is expensive, and because it is quite hard to use as a beginner, high CPU, I would have to put this in the A rank. So I would think this is still a great plugin. So yeah, pretty cool, right? Let's check out this Waves CLA. I know a lot of people in the channel are using Waves, and I think this is quite an underrated plugin, man. I think this plugin didn't quite kick off the way Waves thought it would. A lot of people were kind of skeptical on the bucket view type thing. I think a lot of nerds like this plugin because, for example, I have a friend who uses the bucket view. For those who don't know what the bucket view is, it basically just allows you to see all the instances of this plugin that you're running in one area, and then basically tweak the EQs of every plugin that you have open on a session, kind of in one plugin window. I think that's pretty cool and pretty underrated. A lot of people didn't really make use of it. But I would say this EQ actually sounds a bit better than the normal Waves ESeries EQ. I think Waves probably, with the new one, I think the EV2 or whatever it's called, where would that be? Somewhere here, yeah, this one. I think they kind of imported all of this stuff into there and kind of upgraded the quality a little bit. But I actually like this more than the EV2, and I think it's really underrated. The compressor, I don't really like. I like the Brainworks compressors a bit more on SSL, but the EQ definitely has a tone. It definitely pokes really well. This mic preamp kind of analog technology also sounds really good. It adds in a little bit of distortion, and I actually really like this plugin. I love the meter. It looks just like an SSL meter and reads just like an SSL meter. So yeah, I really like this plugin. Underrated, really nice sounding. So I'm gonna put this again in the A. Nah, I think the B tier. I don't really use it that much, but yeah, still a pretty solid plugin. Yeah, you know what, I have to put C because I really don't use that much, but I think it is a decent sounding plugin. That's like 30 bucks. But yeah, sound wise, you know what, actually I'm gonna do this, man. I'm changing the game up, right? I would honestly use this over this because I'm more of an SSL guy. So there we go, right? Ooh, switched it around. Yeah, so let's see what else we have. We have this, which I luckily got on sale. For those who don't know, Focusrite, were making consoles in the 90s, right, before they started to make these audio interfaces. And this particular console actually made them bankrupt. Rupert Neve, who's the creator of Neve, was actually working on this project, and these consoles were so damn expensive to make that they only made like a couple. I don't know if they made like near 100 or 10, something between that number. They made between 10 and 100 of these kind of consoles. You can still find a lot of these old ISA modules on gear forums, you know, being sold for really high prices. So, you know, this is a renowned piece of gear, but personally I don't really use this channel strip too much. It doesn't really excite me, but the EQs do definitely have a unique tone. The compress I don't really use this plugin too often. I wish I did, but I'm gonna put this in the, I would probably say the D rank. I know, but you know, there's just no hype around it, right? And I don't really use it that much, so I put that in the D rank. All right, so what else do we have right here, man? Let's kind of go for the Acoustica Gold. Okay, this is some good top tier A grade coffee, man, some gourmet shit. All right, and this is the Acoustica Gold. For those who don't know, this is actually emulating multiple different Neve EQs. You've got 2 different Neve compressors, and then you have a bus section right here. Obviously included in the full bundle is a whole bunch of preamp emulations as well, so you can really mimic the Neve sound. And this, man, if you can afford it, is an amazing plugin. I tend to use this not really for mixing, but I tend to use this on my mix bus. Sometimes if I want more of a fluffy Neve sound, I would probably argue and say that this has the best Neve sounding kind of emulation on the market. You really don't get better than this. So I say this is the top of the line if you can afford it. You've got 1073 EQs. You've got the, I think it's the 1022 EQ, something like that. 1066. You know, this kind of cool. I mean, these EQs are going for like 10 grand a pair, right? So having this in your door is absolutely amazing. If you can find these on sale, pick it up. It sounds really good. So I'm actually going to put this as the first S tier plugin. I think this is an absolutely astounding sounding plugin. So there we go, first S tier plugin right there, man. Yeah. Here's a different plugin right here, man. CLA Vocals, right? You know what I mean? A lot of people know about this plugin from Kenny Beats, memeing it so hard. Honestly, man, I included this. It's kind of a channel strip plugin. It's kind of a beginner's channel strip plugin, right? You're not able to physically adjust the frequencies. You have kind of presets that you can use, and so a lot of people think it's really a stupid plugin, but I don't think it is. I think that if you are a beginner or you are somebody who's running a studio, you know, and you're recording artists in and out, having something like this ready to go for people in their headphones is absolutely amazing, right? It comes with compression that you can turn up or down. It comes with a little bit of reverb, a little bit of delay, a little bit of pitch shifting, and that's everything you need, right? So I think this is a really cool entry-level plugin. Again, Wave stuff is going for like 30 bucks these days, so you can always pick this up. So I'm actually gonna put this in the B tier right here. You know, nothing super crazy, nothing super special, but again, it's something that you can easily use. So that's my ranking on that one right there. Might as well go to another Waves plugin, right? The brand new EV2. This just came out, and you know, I was kind of let down on it, let down by it. You know, a lot of people have kind of voiced their complaints, you know, that Waves are kind of re-releasing the same plugins over and over, and to an extent I agree with that. I love the fact that SSL kind of allow everyone to license out their stuff. I think that's really cool. I love the fact that you can enhance the size of this plugin, but sound wise I think there are better SSL sounding options out there. Even if you have to pay a little bit more, you know, you can get some better stuff. But I think pros in this plugin are that it is very low CPU, so you can actually have a bunch of these on your session if you're running a smaller laptop. And so, you know, I can't really say too much about it. You know, it doesn't really have that SSL flavor per se, but yeah, I'll put this in the C rank. I mean, yeah, D rank. It's low mid, you know what I mean? It's nothing crazy, nothing that I would kind of rave about, but it gets the job done, right? So yeah, here's a free plugin for all the freebie heads out there. TDR Nova. Okay, this is a multi-band EQ compressor type thing, and this is such an underrated plugin, man. A lot of people say just because it's free it's not good, but I know a lot of pros in studios that have this installed. You know, you need this installed in your arsenal. Absolutely free from Tokyo Dawn Labs, and you can download this plugin and use it. And it's really nice for mastering, right? You can actually add this on. This was from a mastering session. I was doing a screenshot, and all I was really doing was increasing the gain a little bit, I think, and then I just took a snapshot. I don't think I was doing 6 dB of boost, but really what you want to do is you just want to kind of lift kind of the mid-range. This is a nice trick, and then have it compressed so that you kind of get this popping mid-range sound. Again, you can do that with the bass, but underrated plugin. You can use this as a smooth EQ, you can use this as a compressor as well. Really nice for taming kind of harsh vocals. So yeah, check this out, Tokyo Dawn Labs, underrated plugin. I'll put this kind of in the C league right there, you know. Nothing special, but again, free, works well, gets the job done. So yeah, there we go. Let's see what else we have right here. I included this just as a kind of meme, but for those who have been following the channel for a long time, man, back in like 2017-16, I was using this quite a lot to kind of show people the SSL sound, and that's just crazy how far we've come, right? So, you know, shout out to everyone that has been watching me since then. This is a really underrated plugin. This is the Smack Labs Logic channel, a free SSL channel. Really doesn't have like the craziest SSL sound. It does the SSL EQ thing, but nothing crazy, but just wanted to include it. But yeah, we'll put this in the kind of E tier. It's really not the greatest plugin, but it is still worth commenting on. So yeah, there we go, man. Let's check out the Ozone. Okay, Ozone plugin. Okay, this is something we use in our multimedia mixing. You can use this as a channel strip for, say, EQ, compression, tape saturation, maximizing, you name it, it is here. Again, very expensive plugin, but if you can get this on discount, please do. This is something that I really think everyone should have in their arsenal. A lot of people think that just because they can turn on the master assistant, it's going to do everything. It does work sometimes. It's definitely not going to fix your mix, but the reason why I like this plugin so much is A, the EQ sounds really clean for mastering. B, the dynamics does its job. I would say the multi-band dynamics. My favorite, or what I use this plugin mostly for, is probably the imager, right? I use the imager on my mastering sessions to kind of mono in the bass, turn up the kind of mid-range wideness a little bit, and then I love using the maximizer. I think the mastering limit is some of the top tier stuff. These days I'm using a bit more L2, or no, the fab filter. I forget what it's called, the, you know, L limit or whatever it is. But yeah, this is really a top tier plugin. So yeah, if you can afford to get this, get this. I think this is really good. Again, quite expensive, so barrier to entry is quite hard. But you know, we'll kind of put this in the, yeah, I would say it's up there. You know, you can't go wrong if you invest in this. So I'll probably put this in the A league right there. So there we go. Let's kind of look into the C4. Now, is this a channel strip? Is this just a multi-band compressor? This is similar to the Tokyo Dawn Labs or the TDR Nova. And look, man, if you have the Waves Gold bundle, you've got this, right? This is a really old plugin. This is from like 2003, 4 or whatever. So, you know, Dave Pensado, all of the top guys have been using this plugin for years. And for that very reason, I think it's kind of stood the test of time. This is a really cool plugin that you can use on your mix bus, something you can use on your vocals. People have seen me use it on vocals. Other engineers are using it. It is definitely a underrated old school plugin. So I would say, yeah, again, this is probably a nice, yeah, I would go for B. You know, a lot of the wave stuff is like sitting on the fence, you know, nothing crazy, but very usable. Yeah, soon we'll run out of B League plugins right here. But yeah, let's get into it, man. So, let's look at this one. All right, people have been knowing I've been using this one for a very long time. We actually have, did I include the other one as well? I don't think so. You know, the newer version came out of this. This is the V6. A lot of people ask me, you know, does this version sound better than the new version that came out, the Channel Strip 2, right? This is the SSL native plugin, right? The EQ Channel Strip, and I think, in my opinion, this is my favorite. If I could only have one, this is probably what I'd use, simply because of how tight and how pristine it sounds. This just does the SSL thing so well, and this is actually coming from SSL themselves. So this is probably one of my favorite plugins, and I could probably do a whole mix with just this plugin. So this is by default A tier. This is something that I'll be using until the very end. This particular version sounds so good. So again, that is beautiful stuff. You know, then we can look into, you know, this right here, right, which is the ESeries from Brainworks. And I actually didn't like this version as much as I liked the other one. I don't know, I just don't tend to use this on mixes too often. I think it sounds a bit weird to my ear. I much rather use the ones I have in the studio. So if I was you, I would kind of skip out on this version. Look, it does the SSL thing well. I think the compressor sounds pretty decent, but there's something missing from this particular ESeries version. It doesn't really encapsulate that sound. So again, I'm kind of going to put this version in the D. You know, it's kind of on the same level as the newer Waves plugin right there. So yeah, That's how I feel about that one. But when it comes to this, you know me, right? You know, I did my melodic rap vocal mixing video with this plugin, and I use this actually on every mix. If I'm not using the EQ, I tend to just kind of nudge stuff with this EQ. I think it sounds really good. Even if I've mixed through the console, I actually come back to this plugin and then, you know, just put this on the vocal bus or put this on the vocal, and then actually just get that stereo TMT sound, right? Again, these are modeling different channels on a console, and whatever console they used, this just sounds so good. I think maybe they used a strange console on this ESeries console. I don't know, it just doesn't sound as good. But this to me, A tier, right? This is the #1 investment that I would make if I was you. You know, this, I don't know if this is S tier. Neve, yeah, you know, it is really the Rolls Royce of Neve. We got to support some of that stuff. But yeah, you know, that's really it. Ooh, all right. So for those who are FL Studio users, we got the Farai's vocal enhancer. Obviously S tier. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be very biased here. You know, this is a really cool plugin. It's kind of got a Neve kind of Fairchild sound going on, something we custom made. It's got a custom EQ. Can I expand this? Yeah, there we go. You know, it's got a preamp drive, so you're gonna get that sound. You know what I mean? It's gonna emulate as if you're running through a kind of fat sounding preamp. Then we've got this kind of tilt EQ. Obviously, if you turn it towards the bass, you're gonna get more of a bassy sounding vocal. If you turn it up, you're gonna get more of an airy, crispy sounding kind of C800 sounding vocal. Then we've got this input drive section, which is really just adding some parallel saturation. We've got an SSL style EQ, output gain, flanger, reverb, some of my favorite things to use. Check it out if you're an FL Studio user. S tier stuff, my friend. So yeah, there we go. Super biased, but yeah, I think it sounds great, man. If you're an FL Studio user, you don't really have too much choice right within the door. Works completely stock. Yeah, we might as well check out my other plugin as well, which is the Farai's Beat Enhancer. I think this sounds really cool as well. You know, this is kind of doing an SSL style thing. Go check out the video if you haven't. This sounds really good. You know, the input transformer sounds fat. You can use this on mixing drums and beats. Again, sounds really nice. Simple, sweet kind of SSL fusion type EQ, and then a little bit of a kind of SPL vitalizer type enhancer. So really cool stuff. Check it out. So again, S tier all the way. But yeah, here we go, man. Here's another free plugin right here. Again, another SSL EQ. All we're doing is SSL EQs, it seems like. But this is a free plugin right here. This is from Analog Obsession. This is the latest version, the SSQ V3. And as you can see, they updated things visually. I think they did a few kind of technical changes as well, which does make it sound a lot cleaner. I've used this before. I quite like it. It definitely reacts differently than other EQs out there, and so I don't think it's the greatest, but I think for beginners and for people who are looking for free versions or free versions of SSL EQs, this is the best it gets. I think this is the very best free SSL style EQ that you're gonna get. So I'm gonna put this in the A tier right here because, you know, it's free at the end of the day and does the job well. So yeah, I would use this. What else do we have right here? We've got these two EQs. I think I won't really speak on them. I've kind of already spoke on the SSL sound from Waves, but you know, I actually got a bit more love for the older ones. We'll kind of group them together because I think these two sound pretty similar. I don't really think they have much of a different sound, but yeah, man, this was all we had back in like 2015-14 when I was mixing in studios. You know, if you had this, you were the man. You know what I mean? Like, oh damn, you got the Wave stuff. Back then, you know, these plugins were going for like $300 $400 for one plugin. You know what I mean? So like, you know, we really had to ask our studio managers to invest in gear, you know, or in software in this case. And yeah, it sounded really good. I quite like the ESeries. I think it sounds really smooth. A lot of your favorite artists, engineers are still using this exact version. You know, a lot of Uzis using this type of stuff. You know, Jay-Z, you know what I mean? Engineers using this. And if they're using it and getting pro results, I think these are pretty damn good plugins. So yeah, you know, kind of some mid-tier plugins, nothing crazy, but does get the job done. And yeah, that should pretty much cover everything here. I think we've done everything. Yeah, we got this as well. You know, an API EQ from Lindell. Yeah, it didn't really impress me. I didn't really like it. I think I had a demo and I just I'm not using it really anymore. But yeah, this was just kind of mid. So again, these two plugins in the same kind of boat. But yeah, man, hopefully I had fun, you know, sorting out plugins. Now at least I can visually see what I've been using and what I haven't been using, and this kind of works out. I would say I'm using, yeah, mostly these plugins on mixes. Definitely using these. Definitely using these when needed. Not really using these, not really using these, and not really using that anymore. And yeah, that should kind of sort out my channel strip you know, channel strips of choice. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was pretty random. I've been watching a bunch of tier ranking album videos and I thought this would be fun for channel strips. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed yourself, man. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you now know what to invest in. I've been speaking and consulting via Zoom to a lot of engineers who are kind of starting up their own studios, so I think a video like this helps. This will definitely also help different artists out there kind of look into what is needed in a studio. So hopefully you enjoyed yourself. I'll check you out next time. Peace out.